to part 2 of Chapter 7, where we continue discussing telecommunications, the Internet, and the wireless technology. With the recent introduction of new communication and information appliances such as smartphones, PDAs, cell phones, and mobile data networks, organizations have found it necessary to upgrade their networks to incorporate these new technologies. So when we talk about Internet services, we keep complaining about the information overload, yet we crave more. The Internet provides access to data about any topic you can imagine through software-based services such as discussion groups, news groups, chat forums, instant messaging, Telnet, and FTP, or File Transfer Protocol. Keep in mind that false information is as readily available as is true and correct information. Just be careful about the source of information you access. The most useful features of email is the ability to attach files to a message and send them to colleagues anywhere in the world. This feature alone makes it a valuable tool for telecommuters and for collaborating with coworkers, wherever they may be. Unfortunately, the effectiveness of email as a viable communication tool is diminished by spam and junk mail. The sheer number of email messages sent are overwhelming some corporate email servers. Some businesses are now encouraging no email Fridays. Companies are using chat and instant messaging as a viable alternative to email. Use one of the search engines or directly access a popular portal page such as www.yahoo.com or www.msn.com, and you'll probably see a link to instant messaging services. AOL's instant messaging technology is available to anyone, even those who don't use AOL as their service provider. Most IM services let you set up a private chat room and will tell you when family, friends, or colleagues are online so you can quote-unquote talk to them. Some cell phones also allow you to send and receive IM messages from wherever you are. This graphic looks at the services that an Internet service computer can offer: websites, email, file transfer, news groups. It illustrates where on the path between client and back-end systems these services lie. Internet telephony services like Skype.com have vastly improved over the last few years and are now becoming a popular way for a growing number of people to communicate over the Internet. The VoIP, or Voice over Internet Protocol technology, threatens traditional telephone companies unless they adapt their business model to include this technology. You make long-distance telephone calls free from PC to PC or for a much reduced price, PC to regular telephone, using this technology. Here are a couple excerpts from the World Wide Web, voip-info.org site. Internet and computer technology have already changed the way people live, work, and communicate. VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, is one of the converged technologies behind this communication revolution. An ever-growing number of Internet connections around the world allow VoIP, which turns Internet infrastructure into a giant global telephone network. VoIP works in conjunction with other technologies such as 3G cellular networks and wireless or Wi-Fi that eventually could create a huge global mobile phone network. It is the good news for customers who can make phone calls worldwide at a very low or no cost and with great features that traditional telephone companies can't offer for free now. Looking forward, we believe Internet telephony innovations are far beyond what we can imagine now. Let's utilize those telephony advances and enjoy the feature-rich, low-cost, and evolutionary communication tools. VoIP on WiMAX will make the latest 3G technologies obsolete before they are completely installed. The reason is being 3G cell phone technology is capable of 2 megabytes per second, while Wi-Fi is at 11 megabit per second in bursts, and WiMAX will even be greater. Therefore, 3G is not needed, as VoIP over WiMAX is going to provide more data, faster speeds, and greater numbers of users. Wi-Fi and WiMAX may actually solve the goals of conquering the digital divide. There will be a small price for this disruptive technology. There will be a small legal battle fought, such as this one, over territory with government agencies and private sector. In the Wi-Fi Online newsletter commenting on a Wall Street Journal article, We saw that Verizon fighting with the city of Philadelphia over their citywide Wi-Fi, and if you think about it, they do potentially have quite a bit of those, don't they? The important thing to remember with all this new technology is that nothing is standing still. The telecommunications and computer industries are working at breakneck speeds to improve technologies in order to improve the networking experience, not just for companies, but also for home users. By combining all the divergent networks into converged networks, businesses are able to save money. And more importantly, they're able to offer more efficient use of all new technology. If we look at unified communications, you use email, then you switch to the telephone, then you move to electronic conferencing, on the instant messaging. Each of these has a separate channel and separate platform. Don't you wish you could just merge them into one unified communication package and save yourself time, aggravation, and headaches? Now you can thanks to a single universally accessible service that lets you switch back and forth between all of these methods of communicating with others. Unified Communications from Cisco combines all the forms of business communications into a single unified system that provides powerful new ways to collaborate. Cisco Unified Communications gives company the ability to collaborate across any workspace. Advanced collaboration tools make it possible to create high-quality, secure, adaptive workspaces throughout your organization. When coworkers, partners, vendors, and customers can collaborate more effectively, organizations can quickly adapt to market changes and build competitive advantages. When we look at accelerated decision making, sophisticated unified communication capabilities such as presence, instant messaging, and rich media services help ensure that information reaches the right person right away. This dramatically improves end user and enterprise productivity. Innovate across the value chain. Embedding unified communications capabilities into business applications allows organizations to transform business processes and enjoy new levels of customer satisfaction and innovation. Integrating with other industry-leading applications. Cisco Unified Communications is open. It integrates with other industry-leading applications and a wide variety of endpoints, so workers can collaborate in real time using their choice of tools and applications. Virtual private networks. Companies all over the world are building virtual private networks, also known as VPN, to help reduce cost and make it easier for customers, suppliers, and employees to communicate. And why not? The internet technology offers organizations a much cheaper alternative to high cost of building and maintaining their own technology, or using other technologies that are not built on an open source of the internet. VPNs also offer companies an extra layer of security protection throughout the tunneling process because of the wrapping effect not offered with generic transmission. This graphic shows how VoIP works. The voice messages are digitized and transported over the internet in the same packet switching method as traditional internet data. Gateways are simply computers or network devices that maintain the interface with the internet in a firm. So the VoIP phone call digitizes and breaks up voice messages into data packets, as we talked about earlier, that may travel along different routes before being reassembled at the final destination. This graphic illustrates how a virtual private network works. The rectangles A, B, C, and D represent different computers on the VPN. In a process called tunneling, packets of data are encrypted and wrapped inside IP packets. By adding this wrapper around a network message to hide its content, business firms create a private connection that travels throughout the public internet. In 1989, a scientist named Tim Berners-Lee created a software program to help him keep track of his personal information. He eventually offered the software to other users and called it the World Wide Web. In 1991, commercial use of the internet was permitted for the first time, and that's when its use started to explode. In 1993, Netscape Communications Incorporated was formed by Mark Andreessen and Jim Clark to market a new software application for the web called a browser. This graphical user interface allowed users to maneuver around websites using a point-and-click method instead of textual commands. The World Wide Web is a vast repository of data and information connected through hyperlinks. When you think about the fact that it didn't even exist 20 years ago, it's amazing to realize how much of it has permeated everything we do in our personal and business lives. Hypertext. We discussed protocols before, the rules by which data are transmitted over networks. The Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP, is what allows the web to operate. When you see a Uniform Resource Locator, or URL, address on the website, it will generally start with a http://www. Most software browser programs now automatically insert that for you, so you can simply enter the domain name of the website you want to access, such as businessweek.com. A URL that begins with HTTPS indicates a site using secure socket layers that offers more secure transmission protocols than the plain HTTP. So web servers. All websites are stored on a web server scattered throughout the internet. Rather than a small business owning and maintaining their own web server computers, they can pay a web hosting service to maintain the site. It's often cheaper and easier, and the small business doesn't have to worry about downtime, scalability issues, or security. So there is a difference between the website and a web page. A website has a short domain address such as www.prenhall.com. It is a central repository for many individual web pages that are included at the end of the address after the domain name and a slash. For example, www.prenthall.com/paper.html. This is a web page within the website for Prentice Hall. A web page is a single document stored within the website and probably linked to other pages on the site. Generally, the home page is the first page you'll see when you initially access a website. It's usually identified through the file name index.html or default.html. Search engines and directories use various methods to help you find information on the web. You should not restrict yourself to just one or two search engines, but should try many different ones. You may be surprised at the different results you'll get using the same keyword search. Same search engines use special software programs to monitor the web for new or updated sites or pages. When they reach a new site or page, they analyze the contents and determine the correct category in which it will be listed. They then add it to their database so that it will appear on search results when someone enters the appropriate subject. You can search for FTP sites, videos, blogs, newswires, business news, stock quotes, and weather using these search engine capabilities. We'll look at 712 figure on how the Google search engine operates behind the scenes. This graphic ranks the major search engines according to popularity or percentage of total number of searches performed. Google is a clear favorite. Is this due to the superiority of their search engine results, or does it involve other factors such as their clean interface or their reach, which makes their ad platform more valuable to advertisers? When you're shopping for products in a brick and mortar store, how many times have you wondered if the price of that new bicycle is the best you can get? With mobile search capability on your smartphone or tablet, you can access other stores or dealers and determine on the spot if you're getting the best deal. Mobile search also comes in handy if you're trying to find restaurants, hotels, or popular sightseeing spots in unfamiliar areas. It's fair to say people aren't searching for different things on the mobile. They're just searching at different times, says Feng. With mobile, you can search for a restaurant, a museum, or a shop right then and there, so mobile search tends to pick up in the evenings and on weekends when consumers are on the go. Not surprisingly, desktop search is higher during the day when people are at work, aside from a mobile spike during lunchtime. While it may take a few years for mobile search volume to exceed PC volume search, mobile is taking an increasingly large stake in the search queries. On Mother's Day, for example, 33% of the searchers for flowers were from mobile devices. One shortcoming of mobile search, however, is that people's thumbs aren't very nimble. search sites um, Search sites see 1.5 times more typos in queries or smartphones than on PCs. This is according to Mashable.com. Search result listings show you which websites contain information related to your search words or phrases. The listings may also include sponsored links to sites related to your search request. Sponsored links are part of a burgeoning business known as search engine marketing. It provides businesses a new way to connect to potential customers through the special links at the top of the search result list or a special box at the right side of the search result page. Each time a user clicks a sponsored link, the advertiser pays a fee to the search engine. Because most people tend to stick to the first 10 results of a search list, it's important that webmasters and site owners do what they can to have their sites listed as close to the top as the list as possible. Search engine optimization is the art and science of creating websites and pages so that happens. For instance, if your website is devoted to selling African violets, you can include keywords in your homepage in such a way that your site will rank higher than others in search results. Another trick is to link your site to a similar site devoted to the same subject. Link your site to African Violet Society of America sites. Sometimes search engines can be too thorough or too mechanical in producing results for search phrases. Social search uses results of your friends' searches, their friends' searches, and recommendations from other people to produce results of a search query rather than using mathematical algorithms. Chances are greater that you'll get more relevant site listings. Let's assume you want to find the specifications online of an Apple iPad, so you can compare it to Amazon Kindle. You enter the search term iPad specification in Google's search engine and voila! You get 100 suggested sites to purchase the product rather than the specifications themselves. Google is working hard to fix that problem through the development of semantic search. Its goal is to build a search engine that understands human thoughts and phrases rather than just finding words in a database. It's also working hard to improve its search engine results to return videos and pictures that may be relevant to your search. Many search engine homepages, such as altavista.com, have shopping bots available at a single click. Other shopping bot sites, such as www.pricingcentral.com, gather information from many sources and combine it for ease of comparing prices and availability. Keep in mind that some of the prices available through these kinds of sites may not be the absolute lowest you could find on your own. Some companies pay a service fee to the shopping bot sites to have their products listed regardless of whether they are at the lowest price. So this is another buyer beware. This graphic illustrates a very high-level diagram of how Google works. At the foundation of Google's search engine are two concepts: page ranking and the indexing of combinations of words. The reality of how Google actually works is the subject of many volumes and is beyond the scope of this book. Making the web convenient, easy to use, and having it work for us is the idea behind Web 2.0 services. Let's say you're looking for a new home in a new city that you're not familiar with. You'd like to see information about local schools and perhaps crime statistics for your new neighborhood. You could spend hours researching data and trying to figure out how all the information correlates. Or you could use a Web 2.0 service called a mashup and have the computer connect the dots for you. You don't have to search for information at all if you don't want. Perhaps you're an avid reader of blogs about golf. Rather than checking the entire blogosphere every day for new information, you register your information needs with an RSS, or Real Simple Syndication service. When new information is available, you'll automatically receive a notification on your desktop, similar to the newscast ticker tapes that you see on your television screen. What began as a convenient method of receiving blog updates has now spread across a variety of news, sports, and information services that provide a convenient method of staying connected. Twitter.com produces microblogging posts that are limited to 140 characters. So wikis, they're becoming a popular way to share information between employees, managers, suppliers, partners, and even customers. For instance, your collaborative team is devising a new advertising campaign. You have lots of input that previously was passed around the team via email. But that's unwieldy and doesn't give any of your team members a convenient method of searching for information. Who wants to sort through 83 emails looking for one piece of information? Instead, your team could use Wiki to post ideas, information, or details on the latest version of your campaign in one consolidated location. All your team members could post comments, edit comments from others, and collectively store all the files associated with the project. Searching for a particular piece of data is easy and fast. Wikis are much easier to use than more sophisticated knowledge management systems, and the software is much cheaper. What started out as a way for teenagers and college students to connect to their friends online and share photos and gossip is now a multi-billion-dollar social networking industry embraced by the likes of IBM, Ford Motor Company, and Coca-Cola. They have gone far beyond simply staying in touch with a few dozen or a few hundred friends to an almost necessity in corporate life. It looks as though 2009 was the breakout year for social networks in the enterprise. Internal and external spending on social networking solutions from IT providers and carriers approached nearly $500 million. Social networks are likely to be considered an inexpensive solution in a financially constrained IT spending environment. Globally, social networks have enjoyed a 25% growth in unique visitors in the last year. Some sites have doubled their user base, and their demographic profiles now include users over 35. Social networking is no longer a tool for just high school and college students. On some networks, around 40% of users are over 35. While questions grow about consumer social networks' varying ability to monetize their hundreds of millions of users, enterprises are looking at how they can harness the hierarchy flattening, information sharing, team building power of social networks. Enterprise social networking, or ESN, goes well beyond the consumer experience of social networking. It can include social discovery, social search, microblogging, visualization, and new scalable architectures for social software, such as cloud computing. Enterprises are also experimenting with other ESN or Web 2.0 applications. They include wikis, mashups, online meetings, and syndicated feeds. And of course, tool makers are supporting ESN with their latest generation of content management tools. Social networks look to be a powerful tool and a way of tapping into the wisdom of crowds, but the enterprise versions of these solutions are still being refined. IT departments need to develop the tools in such a way that they engender productivity. Measuring returns on investment for ESN will be challenging, as will balancing an enterprise's need to control a social network with its employees' desire for privacy. On the other hand, most early versions of ESN look to be inexpensive, easy to roll out, and require little employee training. Cash-constrained companies should look to ESN as a way of capturing value that already exists within an enterprise at a relatively low cost. Telecommunications operators and IT solution providers need to invest in ESN so they have the expertise and credibility to deploy these solutions if or when they become more broadly adopted and start becoming a more significant source of revenues. The same individual, Tim Berners-Lee, who began the web, is now involved in creating Web 3.0, also called the semantic web. Basically, data and the content on the web are currently stored in individual files that do not easily connect one to another. A Word file may be stored on a corporate database server, while a spreadsheet file about the same subject is stored on your laptop. What if all the data were automatically connected, so when you try to find all the information you need about your company's latest marketing campaign, the semantic web will do it for you? Some internet experts believe the next generation of the web, Web 3.0, will make tasks like your search for movies and food faster and easier. Instead of multiple searches, you might type a complex sentence or two in your Word 3.0 browser, and the web will do the rest. In our example, you could type, "I want to see a funny movie and then eat a good Mexican restaurant." What are my options? The Web 3.0 browser will analyze your response, search the internet for all possible answers, and then organize your results for you. That's not all. Many of these experts believe that the Web 3.0 browser will act like a personal assistant. As you search the web, the browsers learn what you are interested in. The more you use the web, the more your browser learns about you, and the less specific you'll need to be with your questions. Eventually, you might be able to ask your browser open questions like, where should I go for lunch? Your browser would consult its records of what you like and dislike, taking into account your current location, and then suggest a list of restaurants. The bottom line, the internet is a vast worldwide compilation of networked computers. IP addresses and the domain name system help ensure transmissions are routed to the correct recipient. Many applications such as email, FTP, newsgroups, instant messaging, and chatting are available. The Internet 2 and NGI projects will improve on the current Internet configurations and make it easier and faster to exchange information and data. Companies wanting to gain a competitive advantage need to incorporate Internet and web-based services into their business model. Much as we've seen a convergence in wired digital devices such as computers, televisions, and telephones, we're seeing a widespread convergence in wireless technology and the services it offers. If content can be digitized, it can be transmitted over wireless networks. That includes voice, documents, photographs, music, movies, television shows, you name it. Why should we wait to show pictures of our vacation until we get home when we can instantly transmit them over the internet via a photo-equipped cell phone? Why can't we take 1,000 songs loaded on a wireless device with us anywhere we go? On the ground, wireless communications use a variety of gadgets such as paging systems, email, handheld devices such as the BlackBerry PIM, and cell phones. One of the hottest emerging communication appliances is the smartphone, equipped with web browser software. Some merchants are teaming with the web portals to use global positioning systems to pinpoint your location. Once the merchants know you're in the local area, they offer you discounts on meals, clothing, and movies if you respond within an hour. As you're walking down the sidewalk, you can use your smartphone to locate restaurants, check movie schedules, review sports scores, take and send photographs, and use maps to find your way. We talk about the cellular system. Interestingly enough, the United States is not among the most wireless countries in the world. That honor goes to South Korea, Japan, and many European countries. Many developing nations are bypassing traditional old-fashioned communication infrastructures and going straight to wireless. It's easier and cheaper. Unfortunately, each world region has developed different standards for wireless networks, and very often the standards don't allow for cross transmissions. Two major standards used in the world are Global System for Mobile Communications, or GSM. Bandwidth is based on time division, multiple access, and is used in Europe, China, and Asia, and some regions of the United States. Code division multiple access, or CDMA. This transmits over several radio frequencies and randomly assigns users to a range of frequencies over time. It is used mostly in the United States. Just as we have experienced generations of computers and computer languages, we allocate generational labels to wireless phone systems. Basically, we are working with two generations of cell technology. Look at 3G networks. They appeared in the early 2000s and are based on packet switch technology that allows large amounts of data transmission, supports voice, video graphics, and wireless broadband internet access. 4G networks, they just rolled out in 2009 and 2010, provide speeds between 1 megabits per second and 1 gigabit per second, with premium quality and high security. In order for wireless networks to work in tandem with each other, it is necessary to create standards such as we have with the Internet protocols and other network technologies. So looking at Bluetooth, the Bluetooth wireless technology standard comes installed on some computers, which helps create a small personal area network, or also known as PANS. It's more appropriate to use Bluetooth technology in battery-powered devices that are within close proximity to each other. Bluetooth technology is mostly used to connect keyboards, printers, computers, and handheld devices all within a very close range. Bluetooth technology is a short-range communication technology that's simple, secure, and it's everywhere. You can find it in billions of devices, ranging from mobile phones and computers to medical devices and home entertainment products. It is intended to replace the cables connecting devices while maintaining high level of security. The key features of Bluetooth technology are robustness, low power, and low cost. The Bluetooth specification defines a uniform structure for a wide range of devices to connect and communicate with each other. When two Bluetooth-enabled devices connect to each other, this is called pairing. The structure and the global acceptance of Bluetooth technology means any Bluetooth-enabled device, everywhere in the world, can connect to other Bluetooth-enabled devices located in proximity to one another. Connections between Bluetooth-enabled electronic devices allow these devices to communicate wirelessly through short-range ad hoc networks known as piconets. Piconets are established dynamically and automatically as Bluetooth-enabled devices enter and leave radio proximity, meaning that you can easily connect whenever and wherever it's convenient for you. Even though the Bluetooth technology got off to a slow start in early 2000, it is now being used for all kinds of applications, even automobiles. Vehicles are coming equipped with Bluetooth technology and allow the use of hands-free cell phones, stereos, global positioning systems, and security devices. This next graphic that we'll show demonstrates a typical Bluetooth network. So this graphic illustrates the use of a Bluetooth for a PAN. Bluetooth connects wireless keyboards and mice to PCs or cell phones to earpieces without wires. Bluetooth has low power requirements, making it appropriate for battery-powered handheld computers and cell phones. Most cell phones today are Bluetooth enabled, allowing them to connect to other wireless devices like earphones and PCs. So this graphic illustrates an 802.11 wireless LAN operating in infrastructure mode that connects a small number of mobile devices to a larger wired LAN. Most wireless devices are client machines. The servers that our mobile client stations need to use are on the wired LAN. The access point controls the wireless stations and acts as a bridge between the main wired LAN and the wireless LAN. So a bridge connects two LANs based on different technologies like your wireless network to your Blu-ray player so you can download internet movies from Netflix and watch them on your TV. The access point also controls the wireless stations. We mentioned earlier that today's computing environment should be referred to as wireless. The recent proliferation of wireless technology is technically known as the 802.11 networking standard. It's more commonly and easily called Wi-Fi for wireless fidelity. Wi-Fi can be installed on your existing computer and connect them through a router hub via access points. If you have several computers at home or in the office, a Wi-Fi network can help save money by negating the need for additional phone lines for internet access, or to use a single peripheral device such as a printer among several different computers. Each computer requires a wireless NIC, or network interface card, containing a built-in radio and antenna. These cards are relatively inexpensive and you can avoid duplicating more expensive equipment by using a wireless network. You can access Wi-Fi networks in public areas such as libraries, internet cafes, hotels, and airports. Access points to a wireless network are called hotspots and are proliferating in many public places. You should be aware that the dangers in using these hotspots. They lack strong security measures typically of wireless networks. You may experience interference problems as more users try to access the network. One of the biggest challenges facing the Wi-Fi industry is creating enough hotspots all around the country to provide blanket coverage without interruption. Currently, there are still not enough continuous connections, and many times users are dropped without warning. It's similar to the situation cell phone users have experienced with dropped calls and service interruptions. So looking at WiMAX. Unfortunately, there are still large regions in the United States that must continue to rely on old telephone systems for internet access. That prevents users from taking advantage of new high-speed access and many of the feature-rich applications available on the internet. And because of limitations in frequency ranges associated with the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and other technologies, many users are left out of the internet evolution. A new technology called WiMAX is being developed to help fill the gaps all across the country. WiMAX increases the range of transmissions up to approximately 30 miles and increases transmission speed significantly over that available on regular telephone lines and dial-up modems. So looking at radio frequency identification, also known as RFID, systems are an excellent example of how wireless technology is totally remaking supply chain management systems. RFID tags are small microchips that contain information about the product. This technology holds a distinct advantage over the old barcodes because it doesn't require line-of-sight readers. Instead, the tags transmit data via radio frequencies to computing devices that track the product. The tags can be either active or passive. Let's compare the characteristics of each. An active RFID tag is battery powered, data can be rewritten, have a long read range, and shorter operational life. So a passive RFID tag, there's no power source, they're smaller, lighter, and less expensive, and it's unlimited operational lifetime, and a shorter read range. This slide continues the discussion of RFID technology. Although the cost of RFID tags used to be too costly for widespread implementation, today the cost is about 10 cents for a passive tag. So RFID is becoming more cost effective. This graphic illustrates how RFID works. Do you believe that RFID could possibly pose an ethical problem? For example, if your jeans have a built-in RFID chip, it's easy to track your movements. Likewise, if your student ID card has an RFID chip. RFID tags offer more inventory management control over products than current barcode technology for several reasons. More data can be written to RFID tags. More real-time data can be provided by these tags. RFID tags can trigger other processes within the computer system, and RFID tags do not require line-of-sight readers. Even though RFID tags are more expensive than barcode technology, costs are dropping as they become more prevalent, and the system switchover is completed. For example, in 2001, a single RFID tag cost approximately $2. An RFID tag in 2010 was approximately 10 cents. So according to Wikipedia, in 2011, the cost of passive tags started at a US of 5 cents each, and special tags, meant to be mounted on metal or withstand gamma sterilization, can go up to about $5. Active tags for tracking containers, medical assets, or monitoring environmental conditions in data centers all start about $50 and can go upwards of $100 each. Battery-assisted passive, or BAP, tags are in the US range of $3 to $10 and also have sensor capability like temperature and humidity. Businesses use wireless sensor networks, or WSNs, to connect handheld devices with data storage devices and allows workers to roam untethered throughout the warehouses and office buildings. In the long run, WSNs will be cheaper for businesses and homes because no structural changes will need to be made in the building walls, ceilings, or floors. If you want to add equipment, you simply add another node to the network. You won't have to cut holes, run wires, or alter the physical structure at all. So the bottom line, wireless technologies such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi create small networks that connect just about any kind of computing device. They are easier to configure and connect to the wired technologies and allow users more flexibility and access. Wireless access points or hotspots are springing up in airports, hotels, coffee shops, and rest stops, all across the country and world. RFID technology is giving companies new opportunities and challenges for supply chain management. This graphic illustrates the lower level nodes of higher level nodes at work in a wireless sensor network. Note that the server that the data from the sensors is sent to acts as a gateway to a network based on the internet technology. So in this case, the small circles represent lower level nodes and the larger circles represent high-end nodes. The lower level nodes forward data to each other or to higher level nodes, which transmit the data more rapidly and speed up network performance. Thank you for joining part 2 of Chapter 7. And as always, if you have any questions, please drop me a line in the In Discussion forum online or send me an email. Thanks again for joining.